Hi there, and welcome to another edition here on Busternet. These are the Gloucester City Diaries, and the boys have done it. The boys have made it to Europe. On today's show, we're gonna take a look back at this squad and also prepare for next season. And so we've already started preseason for the new season coming. And the first thing I want to do is take a look back at last season and identify players who played really well. As you can see, some new names are in the team. These are players I've already signed, including Will Grigg. I've signed him as well. All these players that I've signed, they're all cheap. 3 million, 4 million. I didn't go overboard with signing any of these players. And in my under 23 side, a lot of the players that I want to flog off, they're already here. But before anything else, let's take a look at some of the performers from last season. Let's start from the defense. One of the top players that we had last season was Stephen Arthurbury. He played really well last season, and if you're looking at the coach report, what did the coaches think of him before the season started? He was a decent player for most Sky Bet League One sides. Now, and then his form from last season was pretty good. He closed the season with his high sevens on most of the matches, and well, I only brought him into the side because I thought, he has jumping reach and he can hit the ball away, and I mean simplicity. That was the only thing I was looking for. However, going forward as well, I don't think he's gonna fit. He might be a solid player in the air, but that's about it. That's it for him. So he's got to go. Most of the other players here, like Liam Bridcut, he played, but he's 33 years old. I've got to be realistic about him as well. He can still probably feature in the main team this season, but I don't want to look at him as a priority. Last season he didn't play. He didn't play that many games, and we only have the stats for the new season right now. I didn't really track him last season. What other players? One of the players who really impressed me last season, Abel Collado. Look at him, anticipation 16, bravery 17. The only thing that he doesn't have his composure, which is a bit low on the low side for a defensive midfielder. I like my defensive midfielders to have some composure, and he's not really the kind of player that's going to make himself available for the ball. He played well last season, though I sometimes question whether he's a big game player or not. This season in preseason friendly is 6.9s, but I really don't care. But for most of the season last season, he had like a 7. Coaches, well, they think of him as a good player for most Sky Bet Championship sides. Interesting. Most of my players are like that. And another midfielder was Roberto Olmedo. I've got a lot of high hopes for him, but once again, you have to remember one thing: when you're playing with a side that just got promoted, you don't have a lot of good training facilities. You don't want to go signing a lot of young players because they are gonna have a hard time developing unless they play a lot of games. So don't sign them if you want to put them on the bench or you're hoping that they develop, because they're not going to develop because your training facilities are basically crap. So the only thing you will help them develop is game time. So you gotta give them a lot of game time. Alberto received that last season, so he improved quite a fair bit last season. But the coaches still think he's only a Sky Bet Championship player. Form for most of the season last season, 7s. I was very happy with him last season. He did a lot better than another player who's now in the under 23s, and I'm gonna flog him off. His name is Luke Hyam. Here we go. Luke Hyam was initially my first choice. Okay, and coaches think he's a good bet for Sky, for a championship side. And well, overall maybe okay, but I don't think he's gonna fit into our plans going forward next season as well, because he's slow. He is really, really slow, and his passing is average at 12. And I need to improve my side. And this is the one thing about LLM, rather, when you get promoted. If you get promoted with a club like mine, which has got youth facilities that are half a star, training facilities that are half a star, you can't expect your training facilities to produce anything. So you're gonna have to go into the transfer market, and you're gonna have to find players who can fit into your team straight away. So last season, Captain Arthur Worry will not be captain. Jack Finch, vice captain, will not be vice captain anymore. So we have to start thinking about the future. And the future really rests on one player at the moment, our top performing player, Joe Hanks. Joe Hanks, phenomenal player. And he's really developed in the last couple of seasons. And if I look at his attribute changes in the last few seasons, Just looking at his decision making alone, okay, his decision making has come a long way since 2017. You can just see how he's gone up from 9 to 12. And if I'm looking at him, because I really want him to be playing as a playmaker, all right. So I focus on first touch as well, but his first touch 9 to about 11 since he joined the club. And but one thing that really improved about his play style, and this is what I was really impressed with, was his physicals. His physicals have come a long way. Every one of them improved. Natural fitness 14 to 15, jumping reach 12 to 14, acceleration 9 to 11. His agility, sorry, 9 to 11, and his acceleration 9.2 to 12.4. So our friend has really, really come a long way, and I'm really impressed with how he's played. So over the last couple of seasons, the reason why he burst and started doing so well was largely due to him being played in the right role. And look at his vision, 10.6 to 14.0. Now, I have a lot of hopes for him. We did put him on a strength training as well for a fair part of the season because we wanted him to become a lot stronger on the ball. When we got him in the conference, he was a 10. Now he's a 14. So if you play the person with, if you play him regular and he's got a really good attitude, then chances are he will develop and he will develop quite well. He's developing all right, and well, I'm hoping that we do well enough around him as well. Now, would I consider him a first choice in my Torino side? Not in a million years. Okay, because he's nowhere near any of my average Torino players. So he's not as good as some of my best players, or rather my average players. So he wouldn't be playing. So in this team, average is his name. And I'm going to be depending on players like Roberto Almeida, Abel Collado this season, and I might be getting one more central midfielder, though I think that's a bit of an overkill because who have we signed this season? We signed a few players. The first up, we signed Taylor Moore. Taylor Moore, 25 years old. Um, if I'm looking at his attributes alone, they're pretty decent for a defender. But why did I sign him? Because he can play as a defensive midfielder as well. So he's he's got very strong mentals as a defensive midfielder and as a central defender. So good, he's gonna play almost every game. Another player that I signed immediately is value shot of 7 million, the Ivorian Eric Kone. Now Eric Kone, he's a central defender, but I signed him to be a fullback on the left side because he can play on the left as well. And he has acceleration of 16, pace of 14, and he can definitely be a defensive fullback. So I'm not really bothered about his crossing just yet. I can't be asked, but we are going to put him on a training program that focuses on this. So the first thing I do, I go to him. The training says playing position, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to his training development, and I'm going to look for something that hits the attributes I want for a person playing on this side of the pitch. So he's accomplished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find something that I like, okay? See, I'm not training him in the position he's playing. I'm training him for the attributes I want. And I do not want too many attributes. I don't want to go like overboard. Like some people go, oh, I see complete wingback. He's got so many attributes. No, that will be a big mistake. Because you have limited training facilities, you can't really pump everything up. And because if you look at this, he's not gonna improve a lot in every area. He's just gonna improve in some areas. So focus is the name of the game. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna focus as on him as an inverted wing back. So he'll work on his dribbling. So what we're going to do now is also going to tell him to do crossing. So that's it. That's his focus at the moment. So that's how I do my training as well. Joe Hanks, very good player. We also signed this new player called, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm just going to call him Butenko. We signed a player called Butenko. Now he's got finishing of 16 and composure of 12. So he's a striker, and what I want to do is I want him to work on becoming a deep lying forward. Now the deep lying forward attributes I reckon are going to be good for him. He's going to work on anticipation, composure, finishing, dribbling, first touch, off the ball teamwork, vision, passing technique, balance, as well as strength. So these are all areas that are going to be good for him. The only downside I have is I signed a player who's got low bravery. Now I can't really improve this. It's a big, huge NO from me, but I kind of didn't notice this when I signed him, so I made a huge mistake, and it's a bit late right now for me to think about this. He's gonna be here until 2025. I'm hoping that he scores a lot of goals, and then after that I can sell him off because then he has no long-term future with me. So we're gonna, yeah, I made one mistake with him. I guess I have to pay for it. We also signed Will Grigg over from Udinese, and he's at 31 years old, 2 million pounds. Okay, I guess. According to the coaches, he's a good bet for Sky Championship sides as well. So my best two strikers right now, Butenko, Will Grigg, Ryan Hardy, and Rory Donnelly. So if I'm looking at all of them, yeah, we have a pretty sad team at the moment who are trying to punch above their weights yet again. And where can we finish? I don't know. I'm chasing for another goalkeeper, and I'm hoping to sign this player from Bristol City because we need cover and we don't have cover apart from Hugo Keto. And if I'm looking at my team again, Hugo Keto is not the best goalkeeper in the world. Here we go, Hugo Keto, 15, 13, first handling 11, reflexes 13, average, and that's about it. So yeah, we've got a lot of work to do this season, and most of my players are very average players. So we're gonna stick to several systems. My tactics for the season, I'm still gonna use the diamond, which was used successfully towards the end of the season, and the white maybe this, but I'm not going to be using my 4-3-1-2. I'm a bit wary about using systems that have no defensive midfielder. We don't play really well, so chances are I'm gonna try this in preseason. My 4-1-3-2 with the central midfielder here acting more like an advanced playmaker, and then I've got these two guys acting. He might even be this guy being a central playmaker, central midfield on attack, and both these guys being DLPs on support. So I got two playmakers and one defensive midfielder bombing up, and then here we are DLF on support with an advanced forward. So I'm gonna try this in preseason and see how we go. And these guys are gonna be fullbacks on defense, both of them. Yes, this is a rather negative tactic as well. I've learned a long time ago that being negative is a good thing when you're a poor side. So I'm going to be as negative as I can. Take it from Jose Mourinho. He does it even with Manchester United. So if Jose Mourinho can do it in Manchester United, then I can do this with Gloucester City, eh? So it should work out perfectly fine. I mean, yeah, the best in the world can do it. So what's there to stop me? And we are going to try all these in preseason, and hopefully the team gets working on a set of tactics that we can use for the season ahead. Once again, our preseason form hasn't been very good, but yeah, I don't really care. We'll just wait until the season starts and then we'll figure things out. Okay, team report. So how do we look at the moment? All right, there is, but wage budget fantastic. Okay, we have impressive jumpers. That's nice to know. Uh, we got three goalkeepers, but honestly, I mean, in our goalkeeping department, seriously, we don't have a lot of great goalkeepers. That's it, Sam Johnston and Jack Ruddy. That's all we can do, and we're scouting for the first team here. And then if I'm looking at my fullbacks, well, Karim Mamija is going to be playing here, and then Eric Kone is going to be playing here. So that I got my two best over there. Then Taylor Moore will be the central defender here, and probably partnered by Lorio, who I just signed. He's a youngster. And Arthur Worry will be the third defender in our team. So as you can see, I didn't really improve my defense as much as I would like. Luisimo, Luisimi, Abel Calado are going to be the two options for central midfield, central defense. In midfield, of course, you got Joe Hanks and Olmedo will be the first choice. I have not signed a new central midfielder yet. Up front, we're looking to see what we can do here. Up front, I'm still messing about in preseason to find my perfect combination. But basically, that's it. Yeah, still think that we have a long way to go. If I'm playing my 4-1-3-2, the same thing will feature now, except we our best central midfielder is Joe Hanks. So something tells me there's a little voice at the back of my head that keeps telling me go sign one more central midfielder, go sign one more central midfielder. You got lots of money. You know, look at me. Of course, 45 million. Got lots of money. I should go and sign one more central midfielder, but I don't want to go about spending money just yet. The highest transfer fee that I've paid is 7.25 million for Taylor Moore. And we brought in Ryan Hardy, Butenko, Luis Simi, Will Grigg, Eric Kone, and Goncalo Luerero. Oh my goodness, why did I have to pick a name that I can't possibly pronounce during a match? Well, they didn't cost that much. I mean, 7.25 highest, and the lowest is actually a free signing. And we've spent like 21.5 million on seven players. I don't plan on going out to pay 10 million. I actually did think of signing this player, John McGinn from Newcastle, who are in the championship, and they want me to pay 10.75 million for him. Now, on the face of it, I might, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, why not get him 10.75 million? He has the right mentals. I mean, we haven't finished scouting him, but it looks like he's between 12 to 14 for most of them. But then, I keep telling myself, why? You're just throwing away money for players. So I'm thinking of enduring. Like, let's do the same thing we did last season and see whether or not we can survive all the way until the January transfer window. And if I'm in trouble, then I go and buy. If I'm not in trouble, yeah, we'll stick with these boys and see how far we can go. So this is my squad. I think I'm more or less confirmed on who is going to be playing for us this season, and the squad has almost been selected. And I am planning on a 4-1-3-2, the 4-5-1, and the 4-4-2 diamond. So these are my systems, and I'm basically using this in preseason. This uses a target man and poacher. My 4-4-2 diamond, well, it differs. I sometimes I don't use basically, my 4-4-2 is wrong. It should be a attacking midfielder on support. And this guy, I want him to play as a deep lying on support, and this guy to be an advanced forward. So this is my this is supposed to be how I set it up, because I always keep changing it when I head into a match, and I never do it at the top. So I think I'll do it at the top. So target man and poacher here, DLP, DLP, double DLPs. So you gotta love it when you pair people together. So Butang, this is a striker, but basically this is the setup of the system. So we are right now in preseason. That's what we're doing. We're trying things out. And looking at my bench. My bench, Hugo Keto can't get into the team. Atawari not in the team. Luke Hayam, okay lah, maybe it's a decent cover. Ryan Hardy, definitely a striker that should be playing. So there's a lot of competition for strikers at the moment. So we've got McNulty, Ryan Hardy. So goals, going for goals will definitely not be an issue. Then we've got goalkeeper. So Hugo Keto is going to be removed from. It's either Hugo Keto or Jack Ruddy, and I'm thinking of just releasing Jack Ruddy right now. And since Jack Rudd is wanted by Doncaster and other clubs around the region, so we'll say you are not needed. Yes, yes, yes. But we're not gonna make you available for loan. People want you, they'll have to pay the price for you. So we're gonna offer him to clubs at a token sum of cheap, cheap, £1,000. Yep. Want to make some money. I mean, nobody wants my players. That's the other thing. I'm trying to sell players off. People are looking at me going, nah. Just because you're in the Premiership doesn't mean your players are any good, which is kind of true. I wouldn't pay for them. I wouldn't, they wouldn't be in my team and half the time. So this is the Gloucester squad, for the Euro Cup third qualifying round, which is going to be today's featured match. So let me decide who is going to be playing, and then we'll get all set for the game. So our first taste of European action coming right up. We are playing Heracles Elmelo, obviously from Greece. Okay, everybody gets a number, and we're off. Nothing to separate the two sides. Abel Calado takes the captaincy. I haven't even appointed the new captain yet. And we are going to be playing it on key because the show is pretty long at the moment. So let's see how this pans out. Okay, I am with the ball, playing to Mamija. We're playing a 4-1-3-2 away from home. We're going to be trying this system out, even in the Premiership. That this and the narrow diamond. Our team is not very good defensively, so I would definitely want to be playing with a defensive midfielder as much as possible. Hanks with the free kick into the box. Luis Emo. oh, this is a good set piece, and we've taken the lead. As usual, Gloucester City boys there. We make it a point to work well on our set pieces, and we have a team of jumpers. All of them have got decent jumping reach, and we're making sure that we use everything to our advantage. Look at that. They all want headers in the box, and we've taken the lead against our competition, and we've gotten off to a good start in the Europa Cup. Second half's underway. Not much from the first half in terms of highlights. We're putting on a defensive show here away from home and doing pretty well, keeping the opposition at bay for the better part of the first half. They've gone into an attacking 4-4-1-1, but they still haven't really threatened us yet. Free kick into the box. Oh, they have a defensive free kick too, and Johnston gets to the ball. Corner from Gloucester City. Hanks takes it, and it's a second goal. That's two set pieces. We are flying with set pieces this season. Loureiro second. I'm gonna have to give him a nickname, Louis. Okay, that's his nickname, Louis, with a header near post, beats the keeper, and the boys have a two-goal lead right now. Well, final result 2-0. Can't say I'm surprised. We played a pretty good game. Match stats showed that maybe we didn't get to keep too much of the ball. Not something I'm too fussed about. Heat map. Heracles had a bit of the flank, but guess what? Gloucester literally had the whole pitch. So excited how we played the game. Very happy. Only downside, Joe Hanks didn't have a very good game. Not a bother. For me, I think that when you're managing an LLM site, you got to remember one thing. Or if you're taking an LLM site through all the tiers, it is the hardest difficulty level in the game. That's it. I mean, you want something even more harder than create a club and give you no money, nothing, zero, but then it's no fun, you know. I'd rather take existing clubs. So this is the highest difficulty level. Then when you get promoted, direct promotions, and you enter the Premiership or the top league of your nation and you manage to qualify for Europa, your difficulty level goes up even more. Now you don't have any homegrown players in the club. You only got homegrown players from nation, and that becomes your next problem because you can't go around signing 11 new players for Europe because all 11 can't play. Right? You're gonna have to pick the right number, and that's then your hands are gonna be tight. So the thing about this game isn't so much about the tactics or even roles, because people have asked me, are roles really important? I go, no, roles aren't as important as one facet of the game. The, the most important thing about this game isn't roles, it's attributes. You need to understand what attributes do. What do attributes tell you? You need to look at the attributes of a player and come up with a story of what this guy is doing. I can give you a long story or a short story of Abel Collado, but seeing that the show is almost 24 minutes long, I'll give you the short story of Abel Collado. Okay, Abel Collado, solid defensively, gets into position really quickly. He knows what he's supposed to do. Unfortunately for Abel Collado, he sometimes goes daydreaming in matches and he doesn't see the danger until it's too late. But his physical attributes allow him to get back into position very, very quickly. However, if I wanted to play a high pressure game where I'm sitting in front of the opponent's half and moving the ball around at speed, then Abel Collado has a slight problem because why? I don't think he can handle a high pressure game. In fact, I have a sneaky suspicion he's not even a big game player. He may be very good at marking players out of the game. He may be very good at doing the basic things like getting into the right position, but sometimes he also has the ability of wanting to sacrifice himself for the team. So when he sees a fullback bombing up the pitch, Abel Collado is the first player in the team to think, hey, I think I better step up and do his job for a while because he's gone forward. So he may just vacate his position once in a while, and I have to keep a very close eye on him when he does that because sometimes I may not want him to do that. But Abel Collado, he thinks of the team first before he thinks of himself. And the good thing about this is, combined with his desire to always be working hard with the team, maybe sometimes he can offset that characteristic. And while I think that he can read dangers coming into the box, I'm looking forward to him becoming a much better player, and he has the potential of actually leading a team, okay, from the center of the park. There is a lot of potential in this boy, but we need to grow him gently because he's still young, okay. He will not last the whole season. So if I plan on putting him into my team, I can't play him for the whole season. I've got to use him in spurts so that he doesn't pick up a long-term injury. That's it. That's one way of looking at a player. Now, the challenge for most players who play FM is this. Um, they, Nearly everybody can create the tactic. Nearly everybody can create a sound tactic. But the problem is, why does a tactic go wrong? When a tactic goes wrong, it's not usually about the tactic. It's about how the attributes didn't click within the tactic. So if you see a transition breaking down, the first thing you want to do is look at a player attributes and say, maybe this could have caused it. So the next time you're making a tactic or you're thinking about a tactic, take a step back and look at attributes. This is the reason why LLM football is the ultimate challenge in the ultimate. This is why LLM football happens to be the highest level of difficulty in the game. It requires you to have that knowledge inbuilt, so that when you move up the tiers, you can mix. You know why transitions break down. You know which of the players fits into your system, who does not fit into your system, and more importantly, it allows you to adapt very quickly. So if you want to take up an LLM challenge, you've got to manage your expectations or get better at reading attributes and understanding exactly what each attribute does in the game in relationship to other attributes. And that's the trick at the end of the day. That's how you get better. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Gloucester City Diaries. Pre-season, we're getting all set. And I hope to see you again on the next show. If you have any questions, please look me up on Twitter at BusterNet or addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for continuing to support this channel. I'm looking forward to catching up with all of you on Discord really soon. So you take care. Bye-bye.